Today we're going to be going through a few different topics. We're going to start with a quick bio of the speakers. We're going to talk about the future of RP renewals, what we see as the challenges and how the space is evolving. Talk a little bit about some features that are designed to support your business. And then we'll hand over to Oleg Salikov from Berkeley Law and Technology, who will talk about his experience using one of the Azami solutions, the renewal system, and how it helped enable success for them as a firm. We'll have some time for questions, and then we're going to close up the session, but stay to the end because there will be a giveaway. And I'm looking forward to giving away to someone on the call something very special. So first we have Carrie Levitt. Carrie is an industry heavyweight. He has 30 years experience, a variety of roles, RP in his blood, and is now the managing director of North America for Azami Global. Mary Botza, product through and through, and the VP product at Azami Global, leading a lot of our evolving and maturity in terms of our products and solutions, as well as Arpia, which is a new one which she launched. And then Oleg Salikov comes with a vast amount of experience and knowledge when it comes to RP. The firm was originally an in-house firm, although rather the partners were in-house and then left to start a firm. So he has experience on both sides of the fence, and he'll be telling us a little bit more of his experience. So I'd like to hand over now to Carrie to talk a little bit about what we see as challenges and how some of these can be addressed in today's market.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. And it's very nice to see some familiar names who've joined us today. So grateful that you could join us, and wanted to take one moment and maybe just introduce myself in a little bit more detail. I appreciate Mark's introduction, but one thing that I'm proud of is a family heritage in this industry. My father was a U.S. patent attorney. He was the chief patent counsel of Merck in the States. I've had a similar career and opportunity, and now one of my three children is also a U.S. patent attorney. So we've got this amazing family heritage, and hopefully something that we can carry on. But importantly, if any of you see a resume for a young man named Andrew Levitt, that's my son. So he's very capable. We're going to talk about renewals, and I think a lot of you are, familiar with this topic. And just as a background, when we talk about renewals, some of you also refer to renewals, annuities, maintenance fees, and we're really talking about the same thing. We have a renewals solution that we provide, and the challenges, I think, are very familiar to many of you. We've got renewals tends to be a high volume type of work. There are different rules in every region. We're paying in different currencies in every region. It's very deadline driven. Our clients and customers want reporting in terms of the status of the renewals, and there's a certain complexity and administrative burden that companies like Azami have undertaken on behalf of patent owners, and I'm really proud to be part of Azami. They've got a particular focus on Mark, go ahead. On thank you. On managing a solution to be able to meet the needs of the industry. The trends, I think, are clear in the industry that for many years now, patent owners have been relying on companies like Azami in order to help them pay their patent renewals around the years, around the world. Interestingly, we still see that there are some patent owners that are trying to do it themselves, and are even working on spreadsheets and using Excel spreadsheets to try to navigate through the renewal process. But at this juncture, the trend really is towards outsourcing, working with companies like Azami who are innovating, using automation and workflows, adopting technology in order to facilitate data validation. We've got advanced reporting and analytics. So the company, as a data-driven company, is able to employ technology really to meet the needs of the industry. So how does that translate into Azami? We ask ourselves and we ask you, why should we be your dedicated solution for patent renewals globally? Well, at Azami, it starts with what we call the filing network. We represent many, many different clients who are filing patents around the world. Then ultimately, we work with them in handling their renewals. So we've got a filings network and a collaborative group of agents around the world. We've got a seamless automated process with global coverage. We've got advanced workflows, simplified invoicing process, pricing that's transparent, advanced reporting. And this is something I'll touch upon in a minute. Collaboration and access to our global network of agents around the world. We've developed and worked more and more closely with law firms and other patent owners on partnering with them. And the real emphasis being on partnering and trying to meet their needs in terms of what data they would like to see from us and reporting. And I'll give you one example of working with some large law firms in the US and around the world who've called upon us to work with their clients to support their patent renewal payments. So we are fulfilling the renewals service on behalf of the clients, the actual patent owners, but still partnering closely with the law firms who have typically often referred us to the clients. So we're providing them with data, with reports in order to confirm that the renewals have been paid in a timely manner. We'll at times provide them with confirmation, and it gives them the opportunity to stay involved in the process and be able to report to their clients that the renewal process has been faithfully completed. And that's just one of several models that we've been using to work with law firms, and each one seems to have a slightly different report or information that they would like. But we've learned that type of collaboration and that partnering has been very useful, not only for the patent owners, but for the law firms that they support.
Great, Carrie, thank you very much. We're going to get to some specific features, and if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat now or hold on to the end and we'll address them in the QA session. So handing over to Mary Botzer, VP Product, we take us through some features.
Thank you. So just to highlight first that the two features that I'm going to present is just the two that we released in our last quarterly release. We keep improving the product, and I think now we are in a position where the top mission is to verify no lapses. You're not missing any deadlines. We have so many features around not missing the deadlines, the auto renewals, the notification, those settings that are in place. We want now to verify that we keep on giving you more tools to support better your clients. So the first feature that I want to talk about is really the Proforma, the invoice generator. I'm happy to talk about it because it's a feature that came from the community. Customer requested for it. We have, of course, the estimate process where they can see the quote, but they say that they need an invoice that they'll be able to share with their clients. This came to help them with their cash flow and also the operational efficiency. Now you can, just in case that it's less than 6 months from the deadline, you can request for Proforma from the system. By the way, once you are doing it, then the if prices are going to be freezed, meaning it's going to be freezed for 14 days, the FX on the same day. And this will allow you immediately to receive the invoice, share it with the customers, and verify that when you instruct, you already have the budget in place in order to run with it. So again, it came from the community customers' request. It was released in the last quarter release in January, and we already see a lot of usage of this feature. If you are a customer and using it, always happy to hear feedback. Next one, Mark. So the second feature that was released in our last release was the renewal forecast. We have different names for it, but the idea is really that we want to allow you for every new renewal or for any renewal in the system to verify what would be the lifetime budget that is needed for it. There is dashboard where you can see for multiple regions, depends on the number of claims, how much this renewal is going to cost for the lifetime. And you can also get the standard estimators in Excel and see the breakdown for every year, how much it's going to cost, with full transparency and the information for the renewal fees, for the official fees, in case that there are agent fees, brush fees, everything is going to be displayed over there, and you can really do your planning better. Again, the main idea is to verify that you have the visibility to show to your clients, but also to allow you better budgeting and operational efficiency. Sorry. Those are, as I mentioned, just two of the many things that we released. Everything we are releasing, we are sharing in the product. So you can always go and see the last release note and what was presented. But now I'm super excited to say what is actually coming next. So we have so much data that we verified to present to our customers and got requests from customers along the year of the product evolution. And all this information made the product look a bit busy. So we are going to present in the next quarter the new interface and user experience for the renewals. I hope that the ones that know it already can see the difference from this screenshot. For others and also for customers, I'll be really happy if you would like to see more, and happy to show you a real live demo of it already in action. The idea was really to verify that everything is more actionable. If you need to go and see those that are due in the next 45 days, you can easily just click on it, filter, instruct from the system. We allow you to have very clear status indication. So again, this is the top one mission that we want to verify that you're not missing any deadlines. So this is why you'll see it in red. It's very clear. Of course, you can go and drill down and see the full data of the renewal. But in the screen, we identify the most used feature, the most used fields from our customers. And this is what presented here. What you don't see in this screenshot is that the total cost, again, and also Karim mentioned about the transparency, that we want to verify that you have all the data in front of you. So the total cost, you can see there is tiny error over there. If you'll open it, you're going to see the breakdown of all the prices. Okay, so you'll see again the breakdown for the official fees, for the service fee, for the renewal fees, agent fee. If there were any rush fees or surcharges that were added, everything is going to be displayed over there. And this is just a starting point, because it's allowing us now to go and add much more data that we hear and we want to present. For example, the validation status. We're doing a lot of work behind the scene in order to validate this data. So everything is going to be displayed here. And this is something that will come really in the very near future, as I mentioned, beginning of the next quarter. But going forward in our roadmap, we have much more exciting stuff. I think that one that I want to mention is really the white labeling, allowing you again about serving your clients, to allow your clients to get to show to get to the interface, and also to verify that your prices are integrated in the invoices, and that it's your signatures and emails. So everything will come later this year, but keep waiting for the quarterly releases. And again, happy to get any feedback from anyone.
Great. Thank you, Mary. Thanks very much. I'd like to hand over to Oleg now. Oleg comes from Berkeley. He'll tell you a little bit about himself and his firm, and then we'll get into it.
Well, thank you, Mark, Kerry, Mary. It's I think you covered pretty much a lot of points which I was going to discuss why I like Azami. You did an excellent job as always, and whenever Miri speaks, I always learn something new, which is a great thing as well. So, and just in the interest of full disclosure, there is nothing financial with respect to these specific presentations between me and Azami. I just, when the Azami reached out to me, I really kind of jumped on it and said, absolutely, I would be happy to participate and explain why we actually switched from the prior, service provider to Azami, actually a couple of them previously, right, and never looked back. I think this is I think many law firms and in-house counsel kind of expect and look forward to, right? So, and the reason is just as pretty much Mark mentioned, Berkeley Law and Technology Group all came from Intel Corporation 25 years ago. Time flies fast. Howard Case, who founded Berkeley Law and Technology Group, he was a professor at Berkeley and kind of taught some classes, adjunct professor, and also have a couple of professors and the actual patent agents and attorneys firm founded the firm. So we straddle both corporate worlds and, the real world. And of course, all Intel kind of mentality propagates and still with us today, like, Andy Grove said, only the paranoid survive and all those things, right? Want to make sure that we are kind of looking forward and trying to help our clients to make proper decisions and kind of streamline their practices and ours, right? But coming back to, a success story, everybody has a story, right? It's like, but what is success in this specific instance, right? And it can be defined in many different ways, but I think we can all agree that in legal field, right, that's keeping our clients happy, this kind of part of success, right? If the client's happy, then the client refers to other clients and, the business will thrive. So this is pretty much, I think kind of universal understanding, and that's what we're trying to do. Now, what happened before, at Intel, like we use CPI, CPA Global, now Clarivate, right? And the downsides of this were pretty known actually to everybody, right? It's like renewal dates were different from the actual renewal deadlines that they provided. So we have to go back and double check and verify single time they send us something, and their explanation, if you can get one, somebody on the phone, is just, oh no, we just want to make sure we are kind of putting some cushions so you're not going to miss the deadline. Well, kind of defeats the purpose, because if we know the exact renewal deadline, we can kind of work from that and coordinate with the clients, right? Because we're also reporting to the clients, this is the deadline, and it is, and reliance, Clarivate was it's very tough to rely on something that is inaccurate. So we need to double check so we're not look bad to, in our clients' eyes. Customer support services, pretty much non-existent. You all know it's difficult to get anybody on the phone. And if you can, they're going to pass you through, right? Even for simple things that the clients require, like confirmation of payments, we try to reach out. It's silly, but this is a known fact, right? Overcharging, another known fact, right? The Time magazine's published many articles, and clients sometimes call me, say, hey, like, what's going on? I see, like, we are using CPA Global Clarivate. There is a Times magazine article that they mark up to 36%. It's all based on the court documents. Can you look into this? I said, well, we've been looking actually, and let's talk, right? That's why I was really happy with that Azami came into the picture. Changing charges. I don't know if you're aware of not. So it's they give us an initial quote. This is what's going to happen, and the final bill is different. And the explanation, again, if you can get somebody on the phone or on the email, they say, oh no, well, because sometimes the local counsel, local agents change the rates, and we have to adjust for certain market conditions, whatnot, and all this stuff. So it's okay, maybe the deviation is not that great. However, it's difficult, especially for larger clients that have large patent portfolios to maintain, right? It's difficult to kind of accurately estimate costs of the patent portfolio beforehand. And if it's a lot of patent assets, then those charges can escalate, right? So pretty much what I'm trying to say, kind of summarize, there is more to patent renewals, even just simple patent renewals, right? There's more to patent renewals that meets the eye. And, but all these facts known, why corporate counsel, in-house counsel, we're actually doing this, why they still use CPA Global in the firms, right? I looked around and talked to quite a few, other partners, other firms in the in-house counsel. It's mostly just they're not aware of those overpayments. They're not aware that there is some alternatives in the market, right? Another one is buy IBM mentality, and I'm guilty of it as well. And many people know what the buy IBM mentality means. It means that I'm an in-house counsel, right? And if I will go with a larger established entity like CPA Global, everything else, so my managers on top say, hey, if anything goes wrong, right, means that nothing can go wrong with IBM because it's established. It's kind of not my fault, even if it is, right? So this is kind of the self-preservation mode. Yes, I'm guilty of that as well. But at this specific instance, the challenges, and this is by IBM mentality, why it's sometimes difficult to get the client switch from, whatever the by IBM CPA Global Clarivate to Azami. Even though once we switched, it's like absolutely kind of really good streamline practices. So I kind of think if I can just to summarize maybe one sentence, few sentences, like, after switching to Azami, what did it do for me and everything else? I came up with like, it's like, you're good, really great patent paralegal or legal assistant, right? Works behind the scenes, right? It's like do all the work, everything else, but she or he makes me look good for my clients, okay? And they don't even know about it. And of course, I take all the credit. But, there is some, kind of a little bit joke on this, but nonetheless, kind of going all the way back to the beginning of kind of my presentation, my story, this is what success means to us, right? So we're not going to have anything with respect to overcharging. Azami will work customer service, great, excellent. The same response, the same day within a couple hours. Also, we have specific quotes. There is, I don't know, Mimi didn't mention it, but there is a kind of the feature to freeze a specific amount, which you kind of already told the client, specifically the smaller startups, you can freeze the amount with respect to, the maintenance fees, annuities, all these things, right? There is an option, click freeze. And then this amount will actually be applicable when the client will pay. So it will not change despite, changing market conditions, localization, and everything else. Now, of course, you freeze it. And if, let's say it's some sort of international transaction, the value goes down, then most likely, the cost that you freeze is going to be a little bit higher. But even then you can go back and say, hey, I freeze, we freeze it. We thought the market goes up and the kind of exchange rate is going to be different, but now we're a little bit disadvantaged. Can you help? Absolutely. Every single time, Azami was extremely, extremely helpful. So the reason again, coming back to the beginning, I said, absolutely, I will be happy to participate and explain why we switched to Azami is because, this by IBM model, which is still pervasive within the larger corporations and sometimes the firms, if we can make Azami more prominent, right? If we can make it to kind of maybe fitting a little bit of this by IBM model, I think this will benefit, the law firms corporation. And I really look forward to many, many people kind of switching. And I understand it's a challenge. And what we've done, we've tried to transfer a small portion of the matters with respect to the client who was skeptical. And then after, client realized that, oh, man, this is great. We should absolutely, switch whatever we have, to Azami, not necessarily the renewals, but other aspects which Mimi mentioned, they typically don't look back. They don't look back, right? And I was pretty happy. And again, Azami makes me look good in front of my clients, and I love it. So this is the story.
Oleg, thank you very much. So I want to leave a little bit of time for questions. We are close to time. If anyone has a question, if you'd like to raise your hand or type it in the chat. Okay, great. Looks like not actually questions at the moment. So I hope that is a good sign that all was clear. I want to talk a little bit about what you can expect following this. Firstly, This is the first of a series of webinars, which will focus on a variety of topics, not all of them about products. Some will be about trends. Some will be with different speakers on various topics, including CLE topics. So please stay tuned to your inboxes and watch out for those coming up. We also are excited to launch a rebate offer for anyone that attended this webinar. So if you're an existing customer with Azami, please reach out and speak to us. If you're not, there will be a link where you can follow and set up some time to talk about what that means. And there will be a follow-up email with a very short recap of the webinar, which you can also reference, as well as share with anyone who wasn't able to be on the webinar. We encourage you doing that. And I just want to summarize one or two things super quickly before we get on to our giveaway. And that's really, if we look through the challenges that Kerry spoke about and how we try to address them with features, and, Oleg's experience moving from in-house to then a law firm dealing with different clients. The point is that Azami is all about building solutions that address, RP needs, so that you can look good for your clients. If you're dealing in-house and you have a large portfolio to manage, the features in terms of the forecasting and the maintenance and the automations are going to make your life easier. If you're working with clients and you're dealing with different clients in multiple regions, the forecasts, the alerts, all of that, plus the new things like the pro forma, which can help alleviate cash flow, have clients pay ahead of it so you're not carrying their renewals costs. All of these features are designed, as well as what's coming up in the roadmap, to be able to support your businesses facing clients. And we are very, very eager to hear what your needs are, anywhere where we can develop things in the future that will make the platform, even more robust and support more things. And for anyone who isn't using the platform today, or if you only have a portion of your portfolio on the platform, I'm going to suggest that you go and load up renewals into it, even if you're using something else at the moment, because it is very easy to do. It doesn't take any sort of advanced registrations. You can just upload the applications and enjoy all the alert features, reminders, deadlines, everything that's built into the automations. And then you can decide which of those you want to instruct or not. I'm sure once you try, you will see the difference in the solution. And then we have a giveaway. So as a thank you for attending the webinar, we are going with the whiskey theme. And what we have is a bottle of M&H whiskey, which is produced locally and was awarded the best single malt in the world a year ago at the World of Whiskey Awards. And I'm going to give it to someone on the call. I randomly drew a participant number, and I will tell you who that corresponds to a Ted Whitlock. Ted Whitlock. So congratulations, unless of course you don't want it at all, in which case you're welcome to donate it to someone else on the call. That was obviously a joke. We'll be happy to send that across to you. We'll be in touch afterwards. For anyone who isn't working with us at the moment, there's a QR code on screen. If you scan that, you will be able to set a meeting directly to speak to someone about how the renewal system can empower your portfolio or your clients' portfolios. There will also be a follow-up email after this. You can expect that tomorrow, with instructions on how to do the same. And you can also reply directly to any emails you got about the webinar. We're a minute over time. I want to say thank you to all of the panelists, and thank you to Oleg for sharing your story, working with our solutions. Thank you to everyone for attending the webinar, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one soon. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.